Welcome back. Today on the Closing Bell, we kick off Green Week. Money has been pouring into companies that can make you rich while helping the environment at the same time. An exchange-traded fund that tracks green stocks has grown almost 500% since last year, rewarding investors in the process. Companies such as First Solar have not only seen their share prices surge, they have also gained increasing attention from Wall Street analysts, enamored with their huge growth potential. With oil now firmly established above $90 a barrel in states such as California pushing for more solar panels on ordinary homes, plus a growing number of companies for investors to choose from, there's never been a better time to think of adding some green to your portfolio.
And on that note, joining us now with some of the best ways to do just that, Jeff Siegel, managing editor of the newsletter Green Chip Stocks. Jeff, welcome to the program. Before we get to these specific names, tell us how you distinguish between pie-in-the-sky ideas and alternative energy companies that have legitimate lines of business and are legitimately profitable.
Well, you really have to look at how much speculation you want to talk about here. Obviously, when we look at companies, especially when we're talking about for utilities, we investigate power purchase agreements. We talk about things like geothermal. We want to know testing of the wells, how much money is backing the construction projects. There's a lot that goes into putting these projects together, and you need more than just an occasional press release. You really need to follow what's going on in the utilities and surrounding markets as well.
Are you seeing the traditional American utilities adopt the technologies of some of these smaller companies that you write about?
Well, they are anyway, but we're going to see that more and more, essentially because you have half the states in the country have renewable portfolio standards now, and they have to meet those standards with some kind of renewable. So whether it's solar, wind, geothermal, some percentage of what they produce is going to have to come from renewables.
Yeah, so let's talk about some of the individual companies. I know First Solar and Trina Solar have both worked out very, very well. Mm-hmm. Do you still have a favorable view of those businesses, particularly in the context of the stock price run?
Well, yeah, they delivered really well in 2007. First Solar especially. I mean, the thing about First Solar is one of the first publicly traded solar companies come out pushing thin film, and that's really disruptive technology with the silicon crunch. We're really looking at companies that can provide systems that don't use silicon or use a very small amount. And really a lot of people look at the silicon crunch as a problem, but we've actually looked at it as something we're pretty excited about, because it's really forcing the industry to evolve much more rapidly. Going from thin film, and we saw thin film with First Solar again being a very huge winner this year. The next couple of years, we're going to see a lot more in building integrated photovoltaics as well as organic photovoltaics, talking about nanoscale solar.
A couple of other companies away from solar. One, geothermal, quite simply accessing the hot lava underneath the earth to generate steam, to generate electricity. At what point does that become cost effective? I recognize the technology is plausible, but it's also expensive.
Well, it's very expensive to build the power plants. You can't really put these things up as fast as you can put up a mall. But the potential there is pretty impressive. The great thing about geothermal, it's baseload power. Runs 24/7. Capacity factor is pretty much the highest in the industry. You have 97%, as much as 97% with geothermal. Coal will give you about 90%. Utilities looking for renewables, I think, are really going to look at geothermal more in 2008, simply because the baseload power is such an important issue. Plus, you don't have storage problems either.
Very quickly, a different line of business. This company is called Energy Intelligence, quite simply technology to help people more efficiently utilize power in their own homes, things like automatically turning off lights in rooms that you're not in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is actually very huge for utilities as well. It's very expensive to build new power plants, very expensive to increase transmission. Electricity demand is supposed to grow 19% in the next 10 years, and transmission capacity is going to grow about 6%. So it opens up a big opportunity for companies that can provide systems that enable utilities and consumers to use energy more efficiently.
Yeah. Jeff, a pleasure to make the acquaintance. Thanks for spending some time with us.
Absolutely.
All right, Jeff Siegel, Green Chip Stocks is the newsletter. As we look at a stock market dancing with unchanged again, we've all grown acclimated to this behavior, have we not?
Wild moves always at the close.
Yeah. NASDAQ, same thing, down 10 right.
Still to come, the Fast Money Final Call. You heard us talking about it a few minutes ago. Is now the time to get into the struggling financial group. Find out what the options markets are saying next.